You're listening to the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. This is an American history podcast where each week I, outside and inside thermometer owner, man who drinks from a cylinder metal cup, taker of some supplements, Dave Anthony reads a story from American history to a boob.
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about. Your camera's out of focus, Einstein.
Your
listening to the Dollop
friend that you do your other podcast with,
say his name.
He is Chicago Bears fan.
Correct.
Is that correct? And you guys are coming to a head, aren't you, this season? Are you nervous? Is it going to be some tension in the podcast whole hut? Is it a hut?
Stay out of my hut.
Are you guys gonna have some football
we're
tension?
here to help.
Is it gonna be weird for a couple of episodes?
Are you teasing like the season finale? I don't know what's going.
I'm just saying there's things that you never thought out when you started that podcast.
Jake and I have been antagonizing each other over our football teams for probably 16 years.
Man, it's coming to a head.
Listen, one of the beautiful things about Bears fans is how it's always coming to a head in their head.
Ooh.
So,
this is sad.
They're good. We have the best division of football, without question. The NFC North. The North. But this is not a football podcast. If you want to watch us, join our Patreon. Mm-hmm. If you want to hear reverse small-ups and our second season of our UK episodes, join our Apple Plus. That's it.
Mm-hmm. We're going to do more of those, too.
Yeah, we have to, legally.
There's one we've recorded twice, and I've lost it both times.
I don't think I knew. Is this how you're breaking the second loss to me?
Yeah, I lost
how?
Again. I don't know.
What do you mean?
It's like half recorded. I don't know what happened.
You've got to upload. You've got to self-upload to a Google Drive when we're done with that.
I've been smoking gas rags.
Oh my God!
So I dip them in gasoline, and
I can't do
I light
three.
them up and I smoke them.
3 is where
we've done 3. We've done 3
it's
before.
Not
we
a
did
good
the third
thing
one
to
live.
say.
We had no idea.
Not a good thing to say.
We did it
We've
live.
Done 3 before. All right, Bill O'Reilly, calm it.
And called it, quote, his jam pad.
Jam pad?
I'm the fucking hippo guy.
Dave, okay.
My name's Gary.
My name's Gary. Wait, is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tiggly podcast.
Okay.
This is like anarchy.
On a 5-part coefficient.
My room is playing.
Now hit him with the puppy. You both present sick arguments.
No sleep till hippo.
No sleep till hippo.
Action part.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
No. Roder in the court.
October 1896.
Okay.
Harry R. Truman was born in West.
Wow.
Was born in West Virginia in a log cabin in the town of Ivydale. Could be Ivydale.
I don't think it is.
Could be Ivydale. Nope. Only 200 people live there today, so probably a much smaller town, obviously, at that time. His parents were Newberry and Rosa Bell Truman.
His dad's name is Newberry?
Newberry.
Strange.
Strange. A different time. Yes. People like berries
Newberry.
then.
And what's his mother's name?
No one knows what the Rosa Bell.
A weird name, but Newberry just outshined.
Yeah. No one knows what the R stands for, the middle name R.
It's like Michael J. Fox's J. It might have been because someone in the Union already had Harry Truman, so he just added the R, like Michael J. Fox. True, man.
Truman didn't know, and he also wasn't sure which day he was born in October.
So what's going
exactly.
on at this time? The parents, how soon into this story do the parents explode from information?
he just picked the 30th as a day to celebrate his birthday. He was like, what about the 30th or the day before Halloween?
Sure.
What about that?
Sure.
So that's the day but he doesn't know. Could be any time in October.
It's strange.
So in 1907, a lot of the Appalachians had been logged, and the Trumans were loggers.
Sure.
So they headed west. They're like, let's go to a place where you can cut down more trees.
It's
As you
simple
do.
time.
Yep.
It's so funny that we just came to this country and we're like, now that we got rid of the people living here, let's cut everything down.
And then we'll start
Let's
burning
just clear this whole nation out right there. We're going to build a man cave.
So Harry's grandfather, Elijah, and his three sons, Floyd, Marion, and Newberry,
Hello.
and all their families, they all head west. So the whole crew just heads
Truman.
Everybody. They took a train. It was a 9-day trip.
Fuck me up my mouth.
Yeah.
That is crazy. 9 days on a train.
Can you never say fuck me up my mouth again?
Huh? What do you mean?
I'm just putting out a request. Let's just not say fuck me up my mouth again.
I'm just trying to, I'm having an honest reaction to some information. 9 days on a train becomes an up
That's
your mouth
a long
thing.
time. Well, especially with family, it's a long time.
That's what I'm saying, dude. F me up the M.
So they brought their own food.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What were they eating? More badger?
Cornbread, cured ham, and canned beans.
Honestly, not terrible.
That was.
Well, I was just going to say that cart. Welcome to the fart cart.
And thirsty as shit from the ham. Right?
We're out of
You're
coal,
salty and
we're still moving.
I'm mostly just eating cornbread. On that trip.
I'll be honest. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you.
I bet that's some good cornbread.
It's good cornbread, but I'm dipping it in something, and it starts with a B.
You're having beans. Yeah. The men had rifles and they had jugs of corn whiskey with them.
Great. Now I'm starting to. All right.
Hey, you're coming around. Quote, we saw Indians all dressed up in their fancy garb.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay, it's a white person's way of looking at it.
Are they headed to a
Native
show?
Americans.
Where they going all fancy with their heads all dressed up? More beans?
So that's Harry that said that. Harry's 11 at this point. Got a little sister who's 3, and at one stop, Harry has 3 coon dogs.
Okay.
And he takes his dogs out to pee, and he ties them up next to his uncle's dogs, who are also tied up.
I have a bad feeling about where this goes.
Well, he thinks that his uncle's going to grab the dogs and bring them back on.
No.
But his uncle leaves his dogs because his uncle thinks he's going to get his own dogs. And, quote, about 10 miles out, I start looking for my goddamn dogs, and I couldn't find them.
No. Oh, this poor dog.
So he raises hell.
He does, good.
He pulls the emergency cord on the train.
I would vote for this guy.
And he says, I'll jump off.
Right.
If we don't go back.
We need more dog owners.
If we don't go, I'll jump off the fucking train. So the train backs up. Now, 10 miles is probably exaggeration, but the train backs up all the way to get the dogs.
That's a crazy ending.
Quote, those dogs were happier than hell to see me.
Oh, shit.
That's it. I mean, my dogs get excited when I go out to the driveway and come back.
And then think about how mad people get if, like, an Uber driver takes a right too early. Like, this guy was on a train going backwards for 10 miles to his dogs, and everyone's like, huzzah! And you're like, oh, hey, Gabriel, it was actually on the left. 2 stars.
So they are going to Washington State.
Okay.
And they're coming out to work in the logging industry, and as well as they want to buy a farm. They want to be doing both things.
All
they
2
settle
options
in
for a settler.
Yeah, that's all there was. They settle in Napavine, which is a really big train depot at the time. And then the 3 brothers take their money and they buy a donkey engine.
Of course.
Go ahead and tell us what a donkey engine is.
Well, you eat enough beans and you become a donkey engine. As in, you got ass power.
Absolutely not.
No, I know. You
so
want
I'm
me to
just
really
gonna
tell
ask
you?
to stop. Yeah.
So a donkey engine, for people that don't know, is a motorized donkey. It has all the upside of a donkey, but you don't need to.
What are the upsides?
Upsides to donkeys?
Mhm.
What order do you want me to kind of roll out this info?
Start at the top.
So around what are we, about 1911, something like that?
Yeah. we're
Okay,
around there.
so donkeys. Well, people loved donkeys back then. Mainly, they were called Holland mules, and so people would use Holland mules a lot. Problem with a Holland mule is it would get tired. But the beauty of having a donkey is you didn't have to pay the horse tax. So that's why a lot of people would use donkeys. People would use donkeys to carry most of their stuff, because if you were going into a town with a horse, you'd have to pay a quarter a horse. But donkeys, for whatever reason, were a loophole.
Sorry?
Hold on, let me finish.
25 cents per horse?
No, equivalent to at the time. Can I just? It's like a toll. Can I keep going, or do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want me to
go
answer
ahead.
your stupid question?
Not
Okay,
really
so
anymore.
so people came up with motorized donkeys. That way they wouldn't tire out, and you wouldn't have to pay the horse tax.
Well,
when
what's
you go
it
into
look
town.
like?
It looks very much like a donkey. Well, sort of. I mean, it was at that time people would basically use mops for hair, and they would just kind of it kind of looked like a piñata, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah. Okay, so you're really off.
By how much?
So it is a contraption
Yes.
that is used to pull logs out of the woods. And it's like a giant steam engine that's on sort of like
I don't think
a
I'm
sled.
that off.
It has really long cables that you attach to a log, and it pulls the logs out of the forest. It helps. So it's for guys like this who are a small operation, but they can be loggers. Now, bigger operations also had donkey engines, but guys like this could use it.
Yeah.
If they can afford it. So not at all like what you were saying.
But also not wrong.
At the time, they cost about $7,500.
Fuck.
It's way more than a donkey.
Yeah, way more than a horse tax.
So theirs was one of the first in the area. And then they moved to Nasica, which is in Lewis County. There were only 2 or 3 houses there at the time. So it's a small.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Small. I'm not going to call it a town. It's just a
Should we
couple
trick or treat?
You're done.
That was it.
They bought 160 acres. This area more suited to them as they're from the mountains and they're loggers. Right. So they cut trees and they use the wood to build their houses. So they
where are they staying before they build a house? That's a general question. What do you do when you go there and you're like going to build a house?
That's a good.
What is that, tents?
I assume in tents. Yeah, I would assume tents back then.
Papa, how close have we had to having a house?
It's a long time, but you're not going to be inside when we're done.
Okay.
You're more. That's why we call you Piggy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
in the mud.
Okay.
There you go.
Boy, it's really getting big now, huh, Dad?
Yep. You're still not coming in.
How many houses is she?
We got 4 houses.
How many rooms in each house is it?
There's about 8 rooms in each house.
There's only 9 of us.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe I should come into one of them, even if it was just to sleep in a little hole.
Oh no, you got your mud, don't you?
Yeah, but the mud is just. I miss the comfort of inside in a family.
Yeah, but you're an outside piggy.
I don't understand. I guess over the past 2 years, as I thought about it more and more, I was kind of like, what does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, you'll grow up and you'll think more and more about it, and that'll be.
Well, why don't I do that inside and think about it, Tom?
No, you can't.
Crazy. It's a crazy decision.
Shut up, you little dirty pigget.
What? The pigget? It's for sure a slur. I've just never heard it before.
So they build all the houses. Then now they have a farm and they have dairy. They have dairy cows and hogs and horses, and they have fruits and vegetables.
We got
so
Hulu,
it's a whole thing. And they got a boy in the mud. Harry becomes a bit of an outdoorsman, and he's very good at fishing and hunting and trapping. They also distill alcohol, which is something they did in West Virginia. And Harry learns how to do that very well. He's very good at making moonshine.
That's got to be great out of like when you're 3 houses and the 4th comes in and they're like, we make whiskey.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
As a kid, Harry was really into swearing.
It's a fun hobby for a youth.
A childhood
awesome
friend
hobby.
Said he, quote, just couldn't talk without cussing.
Oh, boy. I tell you, sometimes I just get a head of steam on my cussing and I can't fucking stop. Oh,
like going down
it'll
a hill.
just come at me like piss out of my big, long pecker. Just start flowing the fuck out of me and just start shitting and fucking. And sometimes it just makes you want to just show your asshole to someone and just make them take a fucking look inside of it. Oh, shit, that piss is going to be total shit fucking assholes. And if anybody tries my cock dick, I swear to God, I'm going to punch him in their nipple fucks. Hey, son of a tit shit. These people assholes.
This is why you're in the mud.
I was called a bigot by my fucking dumb father who's a shit fuck tit logger, loser, nipple, jag off, cunt. I said cunt. That's right. I said it, cock boy. Yeah.
What's a tit logger?
Tit logger is someone who keeps the information on how many times you showed your tits in a notebook.
Okay, I could have gone another way. I'm actually very happy with that.
It also is when a guy sits on a woman's chest.
Okay, fuck. So him and his buddy would ride their horses 7 miles to school. Occasionally they ride bikes. One time, he and his friend rode their bikes 45 miles to Chehalis to see the circus.
Wow.
They left at 3 a.m. And by the time they got there, his friend was so tired, he sat down in the circus and slept through it.
Sleeping through the circus. All that way.
So Harry went to Mossy Rock High School, and everybody remembered he had a few hunting dogs. When he was 15, he killed a bear hunting.
Jesus.
Very
the
good
bear
student.
was hunting?
No, the Harry was hunting the bear, and he killed it. He thought Grace, he was a very good student, and Grace Sears Finstead said he was a, quote, stinker.
The fuck's she talking about?
Yep, deal with it.
I'll log her tits.
You know you were. He played baseball, always after girls, ladies'
So
night.
they'd let the girls play
Which,
first.
when I heard this, I was like, but how many girls are in the town?
2.
Like, it's like, there's probably like 20.
I fucked all the girls in this city.
Grace said, quote, he thought he was the cock of the walk.
Wow.
He was good looking and the girls liked him. You couldn't help but like him. He talked to anyone, and he was always neat and clean, but he was a cocky guy.
It's funny, just having seen pictures of him, like at no point would I be like, attractive.
Yeah. In the middle of high school, he took a year off work, which was
Crazy.
not uncommon.
Crazy sentence. So the crazy sentence.
He took it off to work, which was the thing that you
Right?
apparently
Imagine being a junior and just be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go work at a box factory.
So, yeah, he took a year off. He came back his senior year, and he bought his first car, a Mertz Roadster.
Mertz.
The best. Who doesn't know about
Luxury. Only 3 cranks to start it. The new luxury Mertz. A bit of rope
friend, quote,
to tie
Harry.
around your waist when driving for extra security. That's the Mertz promise. A bit of soapy fluid in the glove box to use for those days when it's been a bit dusty on the old windshield. The Mertz difference.
Mertz. A friend, quote, Harry would fix up that car and get it running good, and then he'd take it out to the highway, run it as fast as he could, wreck it, bring it back, fix it up, and do it all over again.
Crazy. That's the definition of
That
insanity.
is crazy. It's completely insane. There not a lot of people at the time owned cars in the area, and he was certainly the only student in the high school that had a car. Mm-hmm. He graduated in 1917. His graduating class was 7 students.
I can't believe I'm valedictorian.
And he fucked off.
I banged every girl in this class of 7. We all have.
It's the law.
We all banged everyone. Everyone's been banged by everyone, Harry.
He loves America. Harry loves America and everything it's given him. And after graduating, he joins the military. He wanted to become a pilot and fly during World War I, but that didn't happen.
Okay.
Instead, they trained him as a mechanic and assigned him to a squadron.
It's just so counter to my, I don't know if you call it non-heroism, but the way that if I was like in the war and they were like, you're going to be a mechanic, I would be like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
But back then you were like, God damn it, I just wanted to shoot him. I want to fly these remedial planes and see what happens.
By the way, my relative died who was a Top Gun instructor, which I never asked him about Duke Cunningham. I always forgot to. But he was around during that time because he was one of the instructors there. He did say, however, that there was only one ace fighter that came out of Vietnam, and he said they did every single thing they could to make sure that Duke Cunningham was the guy that shot down 5 MiGs because Vietnam was running out of those planes. And they knew if someone didn't shoot down a 5th soon, no one would. So every single assignment they went on where they thought there'd be MiGs in the air, they sent Duke Cunningham to try to get him.
He must have he was like, are you sure? We're pretty sure, dude. Because I keep going out there. It's just kind of like, there's not.
So crazy. At the funeral, everyone talked about how even keeled he was and how he had such a good sense of humor and no one saw him angry. And I was like, I remember when he got angry once.
Well, you also...
We were at a family reunion, and my dad was, because when Trump was running, and my dad was making fun of how John McCain kept getting shot down, and also said that pilots who got shot down were losers. And like half of those pilots got shot down, and he had to be held back from kicking my dad's ass.
It's so funny because in the J.D. Vance episode, we mocked his service. Let's be honest. Because of it just sounded a little more pedestrian than other service. And everyone was like, fuck, like the comments, people were furious with us.
Oh my God. Oh my, so funny.
But Trump is...
Yeah. Right.
His running mate.
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. All these conservative guys are, you can't talk about the military. You never been in it. I'm like, your guy's fucking the guy. Your butt. What are you talking about?
If anything, it's like, I'm like, we're allowed to.
Yeah, we're allowed to.
Trump crawled so we could walk. You also showed me a view of his house, and I was like, now see, if veterans were getting that level of, like, it is so incredible because I mean, we know already, but I have a friend who works for the VA, and he's just like, dude, it's crazy. He's like, they're given it's like this. It's almost like I hope you like getting thanked for your service because that's your retirement plan.
Yeah, I mean, this guy was like my relative was like a huge fucking muckety muck in that sort of circles, right?
We could say his name's Maverick.
His name's Maverick, but there was no big pomp and circumstance they had 3 guys shoot the guns at the funeral.
Be great if they hit a MiG.
A guy who was clearly not, like, you think there'd be a bugler there to do the, taps thing but there's no military guy. It was just some guy who clearly was like a volunteer and rolled up in like a Toyota and got out and bugled and got back in and drove away. It was just all very just like, man, if they don't even do it for this guy, they're not going to like it. Yeah. They just don't care anymore. They don't care. Once you're done with your service, they don't give a shit.
It's a dog with a kazoo.
Yeah. But no, get mad at the guys on the Dollop who said something about J.D. Vance. Okay. So he doesn't get to fly. He becomes a mechanic in World War I. He's assigned to a squadron. He did have one close call. He was on a troop ship, right? So they're transporting troops. The SS Tuscania, and it's between Scotland and Ireland. It gets torpedoed by a U-boat, German U-boat, and it sinks. There's 2,400 guys on board. About 200 guys die. And so that was his close call. Yeah. That was like, the closest he came. A destroyer rescued him. And then for the rest of the war, he was stationed in England.
A U-boat is what takes you down, and a destroyer is your angel. Thank God for the destroyer.
So for the rest of the war, he was stationed in England and mostly in France, fixing planes. He learned how to fly himself a bit. So he comes back to the U.S. in June 1919, and his really good friend Charlie said the war changed him. He was different, it seems like World War II, that was pretty.
Was this World War I or II?
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
one.
Right. I would say either of those. It's not, you don't come back and you're like, whoo, did you pause it?
But World War I was especially just egregious and horrifying. He's now a loner. They never talked about the war. They were both in the war. They never talked about it. He gets a job working as a mechanic at a Ford dealership in Chehalis. He meets the daughter of a sawmill owner, Helen Hughes, and they get married.
Okay.
They have a daughter, Betty, and Harry keeps to himself at work. He doesn't really talk to anybody. He's not saying anything, so much so that the guy he works next to in the next stall or whatever it is never knows he's married.
Oh, wow.
Even though he gets married while he's working there. He just never says anything. His father owns the Star Hotel in Chehalis. He's still working as a logger,
Newberry?
Though. Pretty common.
Newberry owns a hotel and is also part-time logging?
These guys never stopped working. Yeah. These guys were just always, I mean, dude, that's common back then. You own a hotel, you do some logging on the side.
Absolutely.
Sure. May 8th, 1923, Newberry is trying to pull off a really dangerous maneuver with a donkey engine.
Use the donkey engine.
You know about
this. Of course.
Yeah. Another worker was like, I'm not doing that. It's too dangerous. So Newberry's like, I got this. Quote, that's not too dangerous for me. And then he is crushed between two logs and, quote, never rallied.
I like the never. I mean, Jesus. Great last.
Come on, Newberry, rally.
It's the doctor of CPR. Rally, boy, rally.
Bad news, ma'am. Your husband never rallied.
Oh, my God. He didn't have a comeback?
No, we were trying to get him to rally for a good 45 minutes. But
have you pep talked him?
He was unrallyable. We tried all the pep talks. We waved the flag.
Let him know the stake.
We tried all that. Just, he's beyond rallying. So he's all...
I never actually got word of how he passed. Was it something mild like a heart attack, or... Maybe he was died in his sleep.
Smashed between two gigantic logs. Like one of the reasons he couldn't rally is he was like a pancake.
Toothpaste.
He was a really small man at the end. Thin. Smushed is a good word.
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like he was rolled and smushed. That's just...
Yeah.
Did he have any prophetic...
Have you seen a tortilla?
I have not. I'm mainly with Wyatt's.
He was a man.
Did he have any prophetic last words? What was the last thing he said? I must know. Was it, my dearest wife, Rosa, whatever my name is? Did he say anything like that? Or what was the last thing he said, I suppose, would give me a little bit of comfort?
He said, fuck, those are big trees.
Oh, I thought he said something about it being dangerous, but sounds about right.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, he said that before. He said, yeah, that's not too dangerous for me. And then, but the last thing he said was, fuck.
Ouch.
Holy shit, they're big.
Turns out it was too dangerous. Something along those lines, maybe.
So the guy said it wasn't necessarily a word he said, but there was like a sound, like a splort.
Yeah, that's not words. That sounds more like...
No, but it came out of his body, the noise.
Well, I guess if he won't rally, there's not much we can do for old Newberry.
He's definitely not rallying.
Sounds like Old Barry now.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I'm single. I'm very horny.
Jesus Christ,
what?
Man. Yep.
I would love to fit you between my two logs if you catch my drift.
This is not what I was expecting.
Close the deal.
After Harry decides to make... Yeah. Harry decides to make a change in his life. He heard you could, quote, pick gold off bushes in Nevada. So he heads there to be a prospector. He quickly realizes that being a prospector is way too much work and bail.
Okay.
Comes back to Washington. So he liked to drink. He really liked driving fast cars. And he enjoys the dangerous side of things. But booze is illegal now. So he starts a bootlegging operation.
I'll be honest. I know very little about Harry Truman, but so far, this setup, I'm really enjoying.
Yeah. Quote, soon Truman was picking up liquor and smuggling it into San Francisco and running it up to southwestern Washington. Whorehouses on the coast in Aberdeen and Joachim were among his regular stops.
It's great.
So he's getting it on with the ladies.
Oh, is he? He's going to, yeah.
He's paying for some action.
Nice. Yeah. Power donkey.
But then the big gangsters start moving in on the business. And they're kind of pushing the independent operators.
That's what happened with weed.
Yeah, exactly. So he kind of got to get under a big operation, and he ends up, whatever happened, we don't know, but he finds himself in trouble.
Okay.
With them in San Francisco. Quote, things got hotter than hell. And so he bails from San Francisco and comes back to Chialis. He comes with a 45 caliber submachine gun. Yeah. Which was pretty popular with the gangsters back then.
Jesus.
So he opens up a gas station. He calls it Harry's Sudden Service.
Oh, Jesus, you scared the hell out of me.
What's it like? Oh,
sorry. He sells whiskey and moonshine on the side. So he's still got a little bit of business.
I went to the farmer's market the other day, and I was talking to this one guy, and I can't remember. I keep trying to remember what I said, but I said something about like, it's like a drug deal at the farmer's market. And he goes, nah, that's non-pasteurized milk. And he looked at me like, real seriously, like, you asking? And I was like, no, I'm good. He's like, you got people meeting each other in parking lots over that stuff. I was like, okay.
Oh my God. It's so great.
It's the best.
You want some bird flu?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what I was thinking. I was
bird
like,
flu?
That should change.
Yeah, that'll change. So he's kind of not staying on the down low enough.
Okay.
And those guys down in California hear about him, and they hear he hears they're coming for him. So he quickly closes the gas station, and it's 1926. He grabs his submachine gun.
This is like the end of Breaking Bad.
And his wife and his daughter, and they head up to the mountains to Spirit Lake, which is on right on the edge of Mount St. Helens, or kind of on Mount St. Helens. And they stay there, and he loves it. He loves this place. There's tons of fish. He could poach deer and elk and bear.
I mean, he has a Tommy gun. Easy to hunt.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really easy to kill a deer with that and a bear.
Anything. Just shooting fish.
The land is
so peaceful up here. Into the lake.
Look at all these fish, hon.
They just come up.
Look at that. And a swimmer.
So the land is available for lease from the Northern Pacific Railroad, which, as we recall from the Stanford episode, where they were just giving the railroads tons of land everywhere,
endless,
like they were going to make a railroad up on Mount St. Helens. So he leases about 50 acres. So there's no electricity. There's no running water. There's no phone.
I'm out.
The road's unpaved. It's impassable in the winter very often. But he sets up a small gas station nearby, and then up at the lake, he's got a grocery and a rental boat business. He has a partner, but then they fall out pretty quick, and that guy goes across the lake and opens his own place.
Cannot be that many people, so it's a real big fuck you.
It's kind of mostly teens and kids camps. There's like Boy Scouts and YMCA camps around there.
But it's still very obvious what you're doing. You're like, all right.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Harry builds a big log house at the source of the Tutla River. It's very isolated. This is obviously very isolated. The bootleggers are not going to come find him up here. But there's also no school. So Betty is sent to stay with people in Nasika. And then they send her to a Catholic boarding school, and then she comes back from that and lives with her grandmother. So they've he's just kind of.
So it's just good to know there's options when you're parenting to just be like, so we're kind of done.
Thank you for being my daughter.
Okay, now you're going to go live with a few different people. Potentially they'll all give up on you, but your time with us is done.
Yep.
See, I could handle that.
Yeah,
if I could have the ripcord as a parent where at like 10, I could be like, all right, good run.
Well, we tried.
Good luck to you.
See ya. So I'm assuming she held a little bit of anger from that, but Helen, his wife, can't take it just being up there in the middle of nowhere.
It's named after her.
And all right, and she moves back. Wow. She's like, I'm done. So they divorce.
Wow, so Harry really liked it up there.
His daughter, really likes it up there.
His wife are gone, and he's like, still good. Have you had
still
this
pretty
trout?
Nice. Kind of got better.
Oh, good.
So now he restarts his bootlegging business. Sidejacks, who worked for the Forest Service, said he often went up to buy whiskey. So the Forest Service guys are going to buy whiskey from him. Quote, we used to go to Truman's nearly every night and get a bottle of moonshine. They made about $3 a day, and Harry charged $1.50 for a pint. So they're spending half of their
pretty good.
Spending half their money on booze. I mean, I get it. This is where I'm just like, yeah, I'm a ranger out in the middle of nowhere.
Good Lord.
I'm
this time,
get shit faced at night.
There's nothing to do.
No, there isn't. Harry labeled it Panther Pete.
I just am starting to. I don't know when the bottom's going to drop out. I do like him. Panther P is awesome.
He has like at least a couple stills, maybe more. He had one in a cave, which is also where he would store animals that he killed. So he poached. He stole gravel from the Forest Service, and he hunted on Native American land using a fake game warden badge.
Yeah, it's such a great little pocket of time. Like bullshit just wasn't everywhere like today. It was like, it was bullshit, but it was like you could still just be like, Lieutenant Truman, game, I'm allowed to take a bunch of this gravel and I'm going to need to have some of those elks.
Rangers could never catch him in the act, which apparently they had to catch him in the act.
Of what?
He also loved
poaching?
Of shooting, of poaching. Yeah,
poaching, like shooting, dragging.
Shoot. Yeah. The Dollop is brought to you by Helix Sleep. Gareth, Helix is a mattress company. They also make pillows, so don't sleep on that.
No, dude, that's my.
But I just made that up. No one's ever said that before.
No.
It's a fantastic mattress company. Gareth and I both use Helix mattresses.
What do you have?
Online.
What do you got?
I got a Dusk Luxe. And
what kind? Style?
The sex one.
Nope. California. Stop it. Keep talking.
And we love it. We sleep great. My kid has a Helix mattress now because he liked ours so much. Actually, we gave him ours, and then we just got a new one. That's how parents do things.
But nobody cares.
It's fantastic.
The best.
It comes to your house, they deliver it, and then you open the box, and out comes the mattress. You pop it on your frame, or if you just want to sleep like a hobo on the floor, you can do that.
Whatever you want to do.
And it's fantastic. And we're very comfortable, happy sleepers. Sometimes I sleep at Gareth's just to enjoy it.
I was not aware of that, to be quite honest. When was the last time that happened, please?
Last night, you were already zonked. 20%. This is how much you can save. 20% off mattress orders. That's what we're giving with the code Dollop. I cannot recommend it enough.
Same.
20% off all mattress orders, helixsleep.com/Dollop. That's helixsleep.com/Dollop for 20% off all mattress orders.
It's confusing because people think you're cutting off part of the mattress. That's not what we're doing. You get all the mattress and you save 20%.
That's right. The money part.
Yeah.
Gareth, we are also brought to you by Nutrafol. Nutrafol, of course. Baby. A lot of guys, their hair is thinning. They think it's genetics, and they don't realize there's a lot more to it. Nutrafol targets 6 root causes of hair loss: hormone, stress, lifestyle, metabolism, aging, all of which can create the thinning and activate genetic predisposition.
But surely, Dave, you don't know what you're talking about. You haven't had a personal life experience with Nutrafol where someone has.
Gareth, I have.
What?
I started taking Nutrafol. And after a few months, I was my hair person doing the hair stuff. And she was like, "Are you on Rogaine or something?" And I was like, "No, I'm taking this Nutrafol stuff." And she goes, "Well, it looks fantastic and you should keep doing it." That is amazing. That is proof positive.
What more do you want?
For me, it's been fantastic. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand. It's trusted by over 1 million people. You get thicker, stronger, faster growing hair, less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. With Nutrafol, the hair growth supplements are physician formulated using 100% drug-free ingredients, and their patented technology provides consistent, reliable results. Men also reported no compromise in sexual performance.
There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't like the way you're looking at me, to be quite honest.
Coming over.
No.
Take the first step towards achieving your hair growth goals. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/Ben and enter the promo code TheDollop. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/Ben, spelled Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code TheDollop. That's Nutrafol.com. Promo code TheDollop.
Hey, it's Rick Lewis here. If you suffered from hail damage or wind damage recently in Aurora, Centennial, Parker, Denver, Thornton, Commerce City, you need to get a hold of my guys at Advanced Exteriors. These guys are locally owned and operated. They can help you out. I stand by these guys. They do a great job. They've been around for a long time. Go to advancedexteriors.com or call them 303-756-7663.
He also loved politics. He hated Republicans. But he also hated hippies, children, and the elderly.
Oh, good. To hate the elderly is so rare. So rare to just like, I don't even believe it, but man, what a awesome stance to be able to just be like, I don't like the old.
The old
like that.
Suck.
I really
and the young.
I genuinely think, and I know you'll agree, that you could run on that now. We're done with old.
Yeah.
You're done.
Fuck old.
If you're over 65, you're out of here.
So he buys a pink Cadillac.
Wow, what the fuck is going on? He's Angeline?
He also, like he's still swearing constantly. Like, just every other word is a swear word.
Hate.
So the lodge becomes popular, especially in the winter when there's snow and people can ski and do winter stuff. But in the summer, hugely popular. And Harry's friends with a bunch of Forest Service guys, and in 1935, he starts seeing a woman in Chehalis. When he goes there for a visit once, she has a friend, Marjorie Bennett Brown, and he's like, that is the lady I like more.
Okay. Hard to pull.
So she's a divorced teacher from Seattle. She's got a 9-year-old daughter, Joan.
I'm looking to replace the daughter that I quit on. And a woman.
New daughter.
You're fucking beautiful. I would love to see
Betty,
what you
this is what Betty, you should have been like this. This one's great.
Great. Look at how fucking stunning she is. She's a big piece of ass. I like ass.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Sometimes I love a big piece of fucking ass. Sometimes I'll eat her ass so much I'll shit. You ever thought about that?
By
Just
the way,
pissing, huh?
We're talking about the daughter right now.
No, we're talking about the woman. No, don't do that. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. You're breaking a podcast commandment. You understand that?
I was literally talking about the daughter, so it got weird.
You were.
Yeah, I said Betty.
I was on another riff. Don't do that. Don't daughter the mom.
I can't tell you what, it changed.
Yeah, no, that's a much different vibe. This estate's going to sue us.
Welcome back to the Dollop with Chris D'Elia, my co-host.
Hey, we're now doing really cool pedophile stuff. And that's fine.
So they both have really terrible tempers, Marge and Harry.
That'll work.
But they get married, and shockingly, it's a very stormy marriage. Yeah. And they last for 12 years. And one day, when Marge was visiting family, this woman, Edna Henriksen, comes to the lodge on vacation.
He really likes to bang.
Yeah, she's in a bad marriage, and she came to the lodge to find some space to kind of clear her head and think about things. And Harry just kind of swooped in. Her sister had told her, like, go to Mount St. Helens.
Bang Harry.
There's a great lodge there on Spirit Lake, and fuck Harry. They both said it was love at first sight.
Okay.
And so they have an affair, basically, and then Edna divorces her husband, and Marge is now out completely, and then they get married.
Okay.
So Marge died 7 years after the divorce when she was 53, and her daughter said it was from a broken heart.
That's sad.
So let's just say he killed her.
Well, again, I don't think you're allowed to do that. I don't think you could do that.
So he murdered a woman.
Oh, and now you're doing more of it, and that's less okay. Did she rally, doctor? The doctor comes out with his scrubs turned inside out. We tried to rally. But
yeah, there's no rallying.
She was out.
Can you take the R down from the
full
board?
count? This woman's probably gonna die. We're not sure where this one's headed, but Marge just doesn't seem to be able to dig deep enough. Try to rally, come back in this one.
So Eddie, that's what he calls her. Eddie and Harry are just in love. Like, they're just having the happiest shit time as Marge dies. Harry Truman becomes president, and the resort is making a lot of money.
What is that? How is that? I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Some guy who has the same name as him becomes president. And
wait, what is your deal?
They're making tons of money.
Motherfucker. Wait, Dave. Come on. You're supposed to be a pal. Now. So wait.
I said Harry R. Truman, not Harry S.
Dude, how dare you do that to me? I thought Benjamin Franklin was a president, you ingrate.
I knew this was going to be a problem for you, but I could have helped you, but I didn't.
Whole time, I'm picturing that little man, the little bird boy. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about some other guy.
Let me tell you something. You're also going to know who this guy is. And it'll dawn on you soon.
I don't care to finish this episode.
So they're making okay money. He and his friends lobby for a road, a nice road to be built up to the lake, which increases tourism.
I'm having some real adjustments over here. You've moved on. I'm changing I'm erasing a face.
Yep. So he's expanding the lodge and the resort. He's now got the big main lodge. He's got 21 cabins on the beach. One he calls the Passion Pit, which the inside is painted pink, and that's for honeymooners.
He's got a smush room. Well, that's real. That's real weird. That to me is like I would less go in there.
I don't want to.
I don't want the place that is promoted for banging.
This is where the fucking happens.
Well, this room is covered in semen.
Yeah, he probably. Yeah,
it's like a comedy condo.
Gross. Nothing can be that bad. So there's also canoes and rowboats, and he has 5 boats with engines that he rents out, and then he has a larger boat that he would give $1 lake tours on. Harry sold beer and fishing licenses and bait and tackle. The restaurant in the lodge becomes too small because so many people are eating there, so he builds one closer to the lakeshore.
It's a mogul.
The Lookout Restaurant and Straight Room Lounge. So this is all going great. In 1953, he becomes friends with U.S. Supreme Court Justice William Douglas, who came to the resort looking for a room. Now, Harry was known to just kind of tell people to fuck off, and Harry took one look at the justice, and he told his niece to tell, quote, the old coot, they're full. Oh. So he turns around and starts walking away, but someone was like, that's a U.S. Supreme Court justice. So he runs down and chases him down and talks to him.
I thought you were no coot, but you have clout. You're a young clout. We have a room for you. Would you like to stay in the honeymoon suite? It's covered in coitus.
There's a lot of stuff that you'll like in there.
Gordon Ramsay's doing an episode.
Jesus fuck. So he and Douglas become really good friends. They went on a 5-day pack trip and they kind of bonded and they became drinking buddies. And Douglas, after this, would come and visit once a year. Okay. And it was his spot. Okay. So in September 1975, Eddie dies of a heart attack while she's napping.
No rally?
And his niece said that Harry just worshipped her and his life was just totally shattered.
See, this is why I don't recommend people try to find love. It's just, it's a wild decision.
Good call.
There'll be a lot of grief in the mail.
He starts becoming more ornery and he starts drinking a lot more. And he just kind of lets the resort go. The lodge is closed. Quote, he was so angry and mean that people around the lake tried to avoid him. And the lodge stank of piss from his 16 cats. Now, this is like you.
Are we doing a litter robot ad? Because if you want to get rid of that piss smell, I tell you, get the litter robot. 16 cats pissing all over. Okay.
Yeah. Some guests still came and they stayed in the cabins and they would rent boats. Harry said, quote, I just rent enough boats and cabins to keep the booze supply full.
It's darker.
So it's darker.
It's become darker since I realized he wasn't going to be the president.
It's the second half of Boogie Nights.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, right. Which ends well, except a smaller schlong. The end of Boogie Nights, if he whipped that thing out and it was just like regular size, you'd be like, Jesus, this is really weird.
Holy shit. Well, that was regular disappointing. Then on March 15th, 1980, small earthquakes began.
Oh my God, I do know who this is. Oh my God, weren't we just talking about this guy? Didn't we mention him in something recently?
You and I were talking about the guy on the boat in Tampa Bay.
Yes, and we compared him to him.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And people made up lies about him because at first it was like, oh, there's this guy on the bay, and then people made up lies that he was like this pedophile who was a scammer and stuff, and that also wasn't true. So he's just a guy on a boat.
It's so weird with like how information gets out there now, where you're like, I got to give it a day, kind of see what's actually happening.
I told you, I think we were maybe on a chop. I told you, like, no, now they're finding out all this stuff about the guy's history, but it turns out that's not true. Yeah. Like, so yeah, whatever.
Okay.
So I mean, that's why I did this, because I was like, oh yeah, people who stay.
Yeah, right.
Disasters.
Right.
You know, we got a lot of people out here in the landslide area that are just not going anywhere, and those houses are going to go down at some point.
combination of delusion, but then the reality of like, well, especially right now, like, what the fuck can you do? But anyway, all right, keep going.
Yeah. So the earthquakes indicate that there might be some magma moving around below the volcano. And on March 20th, there's a
volcanologists should definitely wear hats that say magma, red hats with all white letters that say magma.
You're right.
I keep branding.
They probably do.
They better.
They probably do. On March 20th, there's a 4.5 earthquake on the north flank of the volcano. It had not blown up in 123 years. And then there's like an earthquake swarm, right? A lot of little earthquakes. Then on 1236, on March 27th, it ejects steam and smashed rock and creates a new crater. The ash goes 7,000 feet in the air. There are more earthquakes. There's steam explosions over days. Another crack forms, and then those two kind of combine into a larger crater. And geologists are alarmed by this. This is alarming for geologists. Governor Dixie Lee Ray declared a state of emergency on April 3rd.
Okay.
Now, on the 30th, based on USGS sort of reports and recommendations, she created a red zone around Mount St. Helens. So anyone in the red zone who doesn't have a pass would get a $500 fine or could get 6 months in jail.
This is just like the horse tax.
It's a lot like the horse tax.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
It's just so interesting how that stuff
I like how your
back.
mind ties these things together. Other people's minds don't.
Well, when you kind
works.
of, you have to do two things with history. You have to have that sort of upfront perspective, and then you have to do the 30,000 foot overview. And you kind of go, it's the machinations. You see these little seeds, and you go, oh, that's going to be a plant one day. You know, the horse tax was just a nascent concept, something they were just, again, they did because of the power donkeys, but then that sort of just over the years, it's just sort of a rolling stone, and it just the moss that it gathers and carries, and then you kind of come out the other end, and you're going, oh, now they're doing red zones. There's sort of, the taxing of this stuff. It's just, and you looked at today. I mean, what isn't a power donkey today? What isn't a horse tax today? They're taxing everything today.
Your parents must be really proud of you.
I haven't talked to my parents in a long time. It's so funny. I had a conversation with my dad the other day, and he goes, "Don't call me again. This is scary." And I just thought, this is so us.
Really. Yeah, you're terrifying.
I know.
Yeah. People don't want
I know. I'm going like, what is it with everybody?
Yeah.
And everyone's just going, you are melting down. And I just go, okay, are we going to play that game? Oh, it is so funny how that sort of the machinations,
for sure.
the seeds.
I'm scared. I'm a little scared.
Everyone's terrified. I will be at your home so soon.
Jesus
Drive.
Christ. So a lot of the people have cabins up there, can't go up to their cabins. Now, Penn State University geologist Barry Voigt is an expert on massive rock slides and avalanches.
Nerd. Sorry, I got to razz it.
You get him. He has published 2 800-page books on examples of landslides and rock slides and avalanches in North and South America. So they bring him in to consult. They're like, let's get the landslide guy. He takes a flight up to the volcano on April 12th, and he's like, holy fuck, it is bulging in a way that made him think that an eruption is going to go sideways, north. Spirit Lake. Right. He thinks of a 1902 hot rock and gas eruption in Martinique that killed 30,000 people. Like, he's like, this is really scary. But some geologists at USGS almost resented his warnings because they thought it was going to go straight up, be a vertical.
Love that. They're like come on, dude.
Okay, fancy pants.
Have some respect.
Would you write the book on
you
it?
got 1,600 pages on it?
He would not send an official report until mid-May, but he did say, like, hey, guys, this is going to blow sideways. So the media when this starts happening, the media just goes fucking bug fuck. Like they all come up to Mount St. Helens. The Forest Service workers are like, you should go. I mean, you want a quote? Go talk to this guy Harry, because he's going to be full of quotes. And an Oregonian reporter comes and finds a very sad and lonely Harry in this rundown lodge. Harry, quote, I've kind of let the place go since Edie. Edie and I had spent 37 years of loving, working, fighting, laughing, dancing, and really living on our mountain and lake. Go look at the old pictures I have on the wall. She was some woman. So it's like got this narrative, right? It's this old, sad guy who lost the love of his life, and now he's up in his mountain home alone. And he, like any old person, that's why they take out checkbooks still at the store, because they want to talk, right? So he wants to talk. He quickly becomes a favorite of all the TV reporters, and the police are like, oh my God, we can't have all these reporters coming up here. So they set up a press conference and they escort him down to a high school gym in Tootle so he could meet with the reporters. Because they don't want the reporters to be up there when the volcano blows and die, right? So Chief Deputy Sheriff Ray Bladesdale, quote, it'll be an experience. It'll be an experience. Promised, I dare you to print what he says. He hasn't got a civil word in his mouth. He's a pretty nice old guy.
Okay.
A lot of contradictions there. Oh boy, there's a cat here. So Harry likes to complain about the media, and he told the local reporter he was tired of, quote, all the jackass reporters who've never heard of Spirit Lake before trying to make him into a folk hero. But at the same time,
talking to them about
a day after he says that, he is cooking an Easter turkey for the NBC Today Show crew, right? Like they come up from Burbank, and he's like, how about a Easter turkey for you boys?
You people coming up here. Who wants dark? Who wants white? Just put out your plate. You guys come up here, and you expect to talk to me. Guys, please help yourself to some of those sides. Please help yourself. Take a seat. No, get some napkin. And you come up here.
It's the media loved every word that he said. He was just a quote machine. And then, of course, it didn't hurt he drove a pink Cadillac and literally always had a drink in his hand. When you watch video and he's walking across the snow or whatever down in the lake with a reporter, he literally has a beer in his hand. He's always got a drink in his hand.
Doesn't sound bad.
And that obviously being drunk helped with the quotes. He was basically the opposite of the sober and careful speaking scientist, right? He's great. He said, quote, if the mountain goes, I'm going with it. You couldn't pull me out with a mule team. The mountain's part of Truman, and Truman's part of that mountain.
Because there's there's a video of him. That sounds very much like the quote I've seen.
A lot of video. Yes. So an evacuation around the volcano was ordered on April 3rd. And as I said, it's called the Red Zone. Only one resident ignores the evacuation order.
Oh, man.
Harry Truman. He said he didn't think it was a big deal. Quote, I think it shot its wad.
Wow. Why geologists are like, all right, let's not go with your gut. And also, stop making it sound like it's coming.
I got a feeling. I mean, I feel the mountain in my bones, and I feel like it just blew. It came so hard,
stop.
And it's not going to be able to get it up again. And it's going to be soft for a little while, just kind of flaccid and not ready to go
and be
for
ready
a bit.
to go again soon.
I don't think so. I mean, if it's anything like me, it's going to take a good week and a half to really get reeling again.
No.
Maybe a cat brushes up against it and it starts to
Stop.
And then,
stop.
But I think we got a while. In mountain time, a week and a half is like years. So I don't think it's going to, I do not think this mountain is going to orgasm for a while.
It's a red zone.
I hear you, buddy. You ever been to the red zone in Denmark?
What is
Amsterdam, whatever that place
the
is.
red
France?
light district?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, have you? All right, I'm leaving. I don't want to. No more quotes.
His defiance just boosted his folk hero status. Like the more he says, "I'm standing on my mountain," the more the press love it, and everybody just wants to write about him. He's in every paper in the country. He's in magazines. He's covered on every news program, local news, national programs. A memorabilia company made a silver collector's medallion with Mount St. Helens on the front and Harry on the backside in a baseball cap. Now, I wish I had that.
Let me explain he can't leave now.
He can't. You're right.
Now.
He cannot.
So the media has painted him further into a corner by the exposing of this and all that. They fuel it. It's kind of symbiotic, and now he has no choice. The second you're on a collectible coin, it's over.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yeah, he is absolutely painted into a corner.
The versions of this today, it's a lot like the Power Mule. No, but you do see the versions of this today where it's like someone will find their pocket online in a group of disastrous, moralless folk. And because they're selling tickets or because they're doing whatever, they double down and lean into that, and they kind of just remove their conscience.
It's like if you're the party guy comedian or the pot comedian, or you can't. Now your audience is all about that, and you can't stop. I mean, you can fake it maybe, but that's what your thing is.
No, you can't. Especially this guy. This guy can't reinvent.
Yeah, this guy's.
Now I'm the never on the mountain guy. How kooky bananas is that? Huh?
Check me out. I'm the safe in Seattle guy.
I'm never going on a mountain again. Boom.
Yeah. So in early May, the Seattle Times sends a reporter, Hill Williams.
Nope. Not even going to bother. Not even going to bother. It's not even worth it. Why am I going to do it? Why? So obvious. There's a couple ways you could go. They're looking for some reporter who'll go up there and they know a guy named Hill, or they're looking for a reporter named Mountain and Hill will have to do.
So they sent him to interview scientists. Quote, earthquakes caused by molten rock bumping and cracking its way up inside the mountain would shake snow off trees. Some shakes were strong enough that geologists would grab their instruments to keep them from falling over. Pickup trucks would rock on their springs, the jagged goat rocks, visible occasionally up toward the summit when clouds parted, were moving an astounding 5 feet a day, pushed out by the rising magma in the mountain.
Calling your kid Hill is insane. Calling him Hill?
It also could be a fake. He could be like Dallas Reynolds, like not his real name. He just picked it for the business.
And by the way, if anyone
his beat is the Hills.
What my mother's least favorite person on local news is Dallas Reynolds. She hates him.
Well, it's crazy. It's
Dallas Reynolds looks like
he's turning into
lightning did cocaine and he does weather.
Yeah, but he also looks like what if beef jerky became a weather guy?
It looks like he was struck by lightning.
Yeah,
he definitely, and he's just nuts.
It's just amazing. Right. He's amazing. Okay, so Hill goes to see Harry, and he is outside shoveling snow. And Harry shows him around and said he received letters from kids' classes, worried fifth graders in Brooks, Oregon, and also Grand Blanc, Michigan. And the Grand Blanc letters made him cry when he was reading them. Quote, "These kids really care about me, And look how they indent their paragraphs and how neat their letters are. Those kids are no dummies.
Harry, they think it's going to pop. Look at that. Perfect.
Harry, they just don't want the old man to die on the mountain.
You have to
That's all. They just want you to live.
You have to take your hat off to penmanship at this age.
Look at the way they indent. They are indenting.
They even put their addresses in the upper right-hand corner, like it's a business letter.
One asked Harry if he had a family. Quote, if you do, why not go back to them? I don't think you would enjoy being covered in steaming, boiling lava.
Kids, the honesty of kids. Look how sweet she is. She doesn't want old Harry burning through his own skin with lava. That's the best.
Another quote, if the mountain erupted, you would be burned and it would hurt.
Kids say such cute things.
The craziest.
Harry, they say that it'll get hot enough that your bones will melt, but you'll still be tortured while it happens. How cute is that? Look at that indentation.
It's so precious. But he wasn't just staying up on the mountain. He was living his life. So he would come down for various reasons, but he always went back up. But then again, that's like they could have just not allowed him back up, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just think of this country through the prism of today, and obviously they would let him go back up. You'd maybe get more people up there, honestly. But I don't know, you kind of can't. You know? I mean, I guess there's certain areas where you're not allowed to live. So maybe, but I don't know. I think you just got to let this guy be the firework he wants to be.
It is a no-go zone.
Yeah.
You can be put in jail for 6 months.
By the way, a lot of people don't know that's your tramp stamp.
Yeah, it is. And there's a reason for that, but I don't want to go into it right now. But yeah. So he would come down once in a while, and in late April, he went to Minnesota for 2 days to visit friends. God, that must have been a weird trip. God. How about you stay here?
I should go back. I got to explode. I got to pop in a couple days, probably.
On May 14th, the National Geographic flew him in a helicopter to talk to the fifth graders in Brooks, Oregon.
Yeah,
so
wow.
It's so bullshit. It's such bullshit.
I don't think much of our media today, but man, if National Geographic's like, will you face these children and tell them why you want to stay on Mount St. Sure. Your skin's going to burn off and you're going to die. Yeah, but all my stuff's up there, Grace. So you got to remember that.
I mean, seriously. National Geographic was like, how can we really scar these children?
Really?
Like, how can we they
have an attachment,
really
but shouldn't they know him face to face? All right, guys, this is the guy you've been writing letters to for so long now. Listen, Harry Truman, not the president, who lives up on the mountain, is here today to face some of your letters and tell you why he is not going to leave the mountain and he's going to stay up there. Mr. Truman, you mean so much to us. Won't you please come down from the mountain? Because all the geologists say that it's going to explode. And with it, your body and all of the things inside of it.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of really locked in right now because I said I would stay there for a while now, and I'm pretty drunk, and I miss my lady, and the mountain ain't gonna do that. You know what coming is. So when a man meets a woman,
go. That's great. Thank you so much. All right, do you guys want to get him back up in the hell? Yeah, no, get him back up to that mountain.
It'll really just shoot a wall. Okay, I think it's already done that though. Get a tissue.
Okay, go.
Okay.
Isn't National Geographic supposed to be like a good publication?
It used to be. So he comes back from that trip. I believe he cried when he was there, but whatever. So when he comes back.
By the way, that's even fucking. I can't leave. I want to leave, but I can't leave. All right. How about Harry Truman?
I do really think we should point out that like this is an alcoholic making really alcoholic decisions, and everyone's just like, wow, and like,
you really are a hero, Harry. I've always looked up to a bloke like you, Harry. Part of me wants to just keep living, but you can't. You've painted yourself into a bit of a corner, haven't you, Truman? Now you've got to stay up on that mountain, no matter what anyone says. You've got no choice. I mean, Christ, boy, you've been put on the covers of 40 different magazines. You've got fame, you've got yourself everything. Tell you what you've not got is a solid promise of life ahead. But that's not what you want, is it? No, you want to stay up there on that mountaintop and pop with it, don't you? Like God's champagne, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, I wish I could see your balls.
What?
I'd love to have a look at your balls.
Okay.
Wow, regular size.
So he comes back, and there's a reporter comes, and he says he's scared of all the earthquakes.
This is sad, dude.
But he feels safer sleeping in the lodge basement.
Dave, still sad. That did not fill me with anything good.
That didn't make it.
But I feel sad.
He doesn't.
Oh, man.
He clearly doesn't understand the enormity of the volcano. He says that he doesn't think the volcano will kill him.
This is just a guy pontificating.
Yes, he told some people he thought the trees would block the rock and snow from coming down from the volcano.
Like an avalanche?
He told the press.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
He'd never seen an avalanche on the mountain. He had to have. He told the press, quote, "The mountain will never hurt me. When you live someplace for 50 years, you either know your country or you're stupid."
Oh boy.
He told another reporter he stumbled across an old mine shaft and he dug it into a cave, and he planned to go there with food and 2 kegs of whiskey if the mountain erupted.
His plan is to go.
It's good.
His plan is to go into a mine?
Gareth, when the mountain erupts, he's going to grab food and 2 kegs of whiskey and hightail it to his cave.
You want to be deeper in the mountain when it starts to shake and collapse. That's the move.
Have you seen Lord of the Rings? I got this from the dwarves.
Geologists will tell you to leave the mountain, and if you're not going to leave the mountain, to just try to stay above ground as much as possible. My plan is to find the mountain's beehole and get right into it.
Get in
there as deep as possible. I mean, when was the last time you heard of a mine collapsing? Exactly.
Never.
So,
especially when it's a mine in a volcano. The media, of course, eats this shit up. Like it's just more copy, and they love it. They just keep coming up. And one day in early May, he comes out in the morning, and there's 4 helicopters on the driveway of reporters who had landed because they're all fucking coming. And he tells them they would not have gotten much of a story out of Mount St. Helens if it wasn't for him. And he's right. Like he's created a narrative that everybody who was alive at the time remembers this guy and remembers the ongoing saga of this guy less so than.
How long is this going on?
We're now in the second month. So it started.
So it's months, not years.
Mid-May, and now we're like in. It started in March, and now we're into May. Yeah, it's not years. It's literally 2 months.
Spoiler.
On May 10th, a very strong earthquake hits, and the next day, scientists release a very serious warning, and they say the eruption is no longer an if, now it is.
And they're writing these.
It's an about.
They're writing these bulletins too hairy.
Basically, 2 days later, another quake caused an ice avalanche, and this is all happening on the north flank, which is right. He's directly in the path of this. Officials offer to fly him out by helicopter. They're like, "We will now come and get you and take you out." And he said, quote, "I've made up my mind more than ever not to leave." I mean, my take on this getting to this point is like the dude, when his wife died, he was done. He stopped living, and this is his way of going.
And you know what? The truth is, if you were to be in a back room sort of discussing this, you'd be like, look, he's a legend now. He's got all the clout he needs. Let's physically remove him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. On May 27th, 5 friends come to visit at different times and beg him to come.
By the way, those friends, you were probably like, hey, Harry, I'm not going to stay for long. Listen, I just, I really cannot stay for very long. It does sound a bit rumbly. Does that always sound rumbly? We're definitely looking to get you out of here. So we love you so much. We really think you should leave, buddy. I got to go.
It's time.
It's time, buddy. It's go.
It's time. It's time.
Let's go, buddy.
He told one quote, if I go down to the lowland, I will drink myself to death.
Buddy, you're doing that in the highland.
That's actually exactly what's going on right now. Just
the lowland is such a funny way of putting it too. He really has become kind of like, it's like Game of Thrones. I'm not a lowlander.
Yeah. A deputy said, quote, Harry Truman looked at me like he wanted me to just hit him over the head and put him in the back of the car. He was nervous, but damned if he was going. I had no choice other than to kidnap him, which I wasn't going to do. So that day, there were 2 small eruptions, and the north flank now has a 140-meter bulge that is growing 2 meters a day.
God. It's growing 2. I mean, he was just like, I'm gonna go for a dip.
2 friends who ran a lodge on the river nearby stopped by and helped him sharpen his saws.
Well, that is crazy.
Well, you got to be ready.
That is crazy. I'm going to make a bench. What are you doing?
They left at 6 p.m. And Harry said he'd see them tomorrow because he was going to Castle Rock to buy primroses for the garden. And as he was talking to them, they're in their car and he's standing outside the car. They all tear up. And then Harry said, quote, oh, come on, let's keep a stiff upper lip. So everybody, he knows he's dying. Everybody knows he's committing suicide.
But it's just living on a mountain.
It's like he has cancer, but he's just on a volcano.
He has mountainosis. He's unable to differentiate what is an exploding mountain versus what's an okay place to live. How far along is it, Doc? It's extreme. It's spread all over you. You're going to insist, just keep a stiff upper lip. Oh, come on now. I'm just going to die from popping.
Now, I'll also say they should have expanded the red zone because there's a red zone and a blue zone. And based on that guy, the Professor Voigt's report, like it was going to be bigger sideways than it was up.
Yeah.
And like there were workers for the Weyerhaeuser, I think it's called, but it's a logging company we've talked about before when we talked about the damn guy and stuff who fought the logging company. That guy. But they're like a huge nationwide logging company, and they were still working in this area, and that's kind of why I think like they didn't want to expand it was because of commerce, but they should have expanded it in a direction.
Yeah,
but it still was bigger than anybody ever imagined. They kept saying, well, it's never blown that big, but I read one scientist who was like, yeah, that's not how science works.
You're predicting.
It may have never blown that big, but then it might.
New realities as part of it.
Yeah.
Well, you know how science works. If it's happened, it can happen again. And if it never has, it won't.
It won't.
It can't.
So Mount St. Helens explodes the next morning at 8:32 a.m. The massive bulge became a gigantic landslide, and then that triggers different things, basically, and that leads to the blast, which is horizontal.
Okay.
So it's hard for Harry to run to his mind because the blast is moving at 300 miles per hour and it's 600 degrees.
That plan was extremely flawed the entire time.
It's a good plan. I said it was a good plan.
Kegs of whiskey. It's you know what I mean? It's not like the sun going down. Well, 15 minutes before it pops.
It's possible that he thought of it in like the way like you think of it in a cartoon where just lava comes out.
Surely there were people there though who were like, no. You're thinking of Animaniacs.
No,
this is not what's going to happen.
It can just be hot gas. Right. So it's 300 miles an hour and it's 600 degrees. The cloud sped down the volcano, just obliterating the forest. When it hit the resorts and camps at Spirit Lake, they were blown to bits and Harry was incinerated. He would have been dead before he even knew what was happening. But thankfully, there's no suffering. He was just fucking gone. Right? Helicopter pilot Dwight Reber had told Harry he would fly up and save him if the volcano erupted, so he headed up to the lake. The air temperature was 140 degrees Fahrenheit, so hot the helicopter had a hard time staying up. He did see water, and he's like, okay, that's the lake, but it's covered in logs and ash and everything else. There's no buildings. There's nothing there. Over 100 square miles of forest was buried or blown down. And again, he's at the beginning of that. He's right at, so, I mean, this went on like the pictures are nuts, astounding how big the explosion was. 61 people killed or missing, although I think they took that down. They double counted. So, two women were murdered and then they found their bodies, but they had already been killed.
What should we count them as?
I'd say the volcano stab.
No, though, but it's so strange. It's clearly a bunch of stab wounds.
So I think it was 57 people. 7,000 elk, 12,000 deer, 300 bears, 5,000 coyotes. So he's dead. And they auction his estate off.
What estate?
And it's split between 8 heirs. So he gets $58,000. This is the estate. People are surprised to learn that he and Eddie owned a second home near the Columbia River. He could have gone to his second house. He had another house. He could have gone to another house. He didn't want to live. That's obvious.
Who's more electable today?
Basically.
The guy who was president or this guy?
This guy. So they would spend time there once in a while. 100 bidders come because they're going to auction everything off in the house. Quote, bids were offered for Truman's prized swizzle stick. His Portland
swizzle stick is something that Little John holds, right?
Yes. His telephone directories, his fucking phone books, canned goods that he never had a chance to eat, and even the house's toilet.
I'm interested in buying the toilet. May I ask a couple questions before I
write
the check out?
Yeah, well, you already bought it, but yeah, you can ask questions.
Has it been cleaned?
No, it's exactly the same.
He didn't have running water, correct?
No.
So all the man matter remains?
No, it's mostly cleaned out. It wasn't like a pot. Like it.
Well, but there's still bits and pieces, or what do you think?
Okay,
well, hold on. I have a proposition. Please, let me finish my proposition. Who says no to a deal before a deal is offered?
Please just take it.
I will. The toilet's getting taken. It's just a question of what state I may receive it in. What if you were to ask some people who work around you if they have any interest in using the toilet?
I need you to go.
I need you to go right now,
or I'm calling the police. I'm calling them
in the toilet.
That's not.
See if one of your people will do it.
Leave.
Show of hands. Anyone have to crap?
No one's crapping.
I got ripped off at that auction today.
No, you didn't.
I'm talking to my wife, who happens to be a tree trunk.
They also bought rusted tools, ashtrays, first aid kits, a silver hard hat, and his personal wet bar.
The first aid kit's funny.
Hollywood Wickley makes a movie. I think it came out the same year, starring his favorite actor, Art Carney. It's terrible. It's totally panned. If you can imagine. There is a ridge on the volcano now called Harry's Ridge. There's also a Harry Truman Trail. They made a Harry Truman Memorial Park in Castle Rock, but I guess Castle Rock was super divided. Some people thought he'd done a bad thing. Other people thought he was a hero. So they later renamed it Castle Rock Lions Club Park.
Okay.
And that's the story of Harry Truman on the mountain. And I think we're going to get a lot of this with climate change.
Yeah, we probably will. I mean, that's sort of to what you were alluding to before. It's like, you just kind of, In a really, it's sad. I mean, it is sad because of a couple of reasons. Because it's clearly like, someone who, there's a problem there, and then also a media that hypes it up, and and I think the same with climate change. It's like it's also just the acceleration of the crazy shit.
Yeah.
Is like in today, you would have a bunch of people behind him saying, this is such crazy shit. They keep trying to take your land and they're really coming. Like,
right.
You would have you would have a
people
defensive
would go up
movement.
There with him,
you would have a bunch of people up there. Yeah. And then when it happens, they would say that the government exploded it to teach him a lesson and kill these people.
Absolutely.
You would just have the fringe on fringe. I mean, and you see it with the hurricane. We were talking about it, like the fact that the idea that, that people think that these weather systems are caused by a machine in the ocean is
fucking amazing.
Is shocking.
But look, this is a great example of how like the media creates a worse situation because they need a story where a story doesn't exist. Like the story is this mountain's going to blow up. That's the story. And then they focus on this dude and they make it into this narrative instead of what they should have done, which is ignore the dude. And he might have come down. You're right. I think they did box him in. And so they create this weird, bad situation.
Media doesn't seem to ever really help anything.
I mean, maybe it does. I think there's times when it's like, I'm sure there are people.
There are certain journalists that I think definitely give us insights into things we didn't have. But mass media culture, I don't think ever really. No. It doesn't have the interest in solving. You can't have a culture where everything is about boosting your own fame and success at every turn and expect morals or good character to actually come into play and mean anything.
Right.
So it's just, that's what it all is. I mean, it's, and it's even dog shit. It's the dog shittest it could be now because it's like literally just trying to get people to follow you on social media so that you can become an influencer. That is literally everyone's goal now. And that's it. Yeah. And sorry, tough shit. That's it.
Yeah. There are a lot of takes.
Here, I got, can we just watch him real quick? I'm just going to play some of his audio. I found it on YouTube real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. This is what I'm talking about.
That's it. But I know. You can't find a video anymore where they just go straight to the video.
Spirit Lake is no more. That's the word from the Forest Service. Survey crews say huge pyroclastic flows of hot ash, rock, and gas have enveloped the lake, turning it into a bubbling cauldron of hot debris. We have reports that Spirit Lake Lodge is totally wiped out. Those reports are unconfirmed. As for lodge operator, 84-year-old Harry Truman, we can only surmise he has realized his wish to go down with the ship. We understand the area is completely buried beneath 30 feet of mud. I last saw Harry about 2 weeks ago. It was one of many afternoons we've spent together over the past year, and so I came to know Harry through his salty tales of days gone by, tales of running whiskey, and of the day he settled down. Harry, together with his wife, refused for nearly half a century to be defeated by the elements. Their home was destroyed several times by high winds and fire. Each time they built it back again. But Harry's wife died 5 years ago.
No, I'm not going to leave. You're damn right I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay here. If I left, it'd kill me. If I left this place and lost my home, I'd die in a week. I couldn't live. I couldn't stand it. So I'm like that old captain. By God, I'm going down the ship. I said, if the damn thing takes this mountain, I'm going along with it. I'd rather be dead than to live without it. That's crazy. Damn stupid. Okay. The people see that, they say the craziest man in God's real world is old Truman.
Wow. It's also the fact that she's like, my last conversation was with him 2 weeks ago. It's so exploitative.
She also lied. She said my year with him, but this started on March 16th, 1980, and then the explosion.
But it's like
was on the 18th.
She's treating it like Tuesdays with Maury.
Of May. But the whole thing, it's all very just like
it's salacious.
Weird. It's just so weird. Yeah, it's completely salacious.
Well, it's fucking insane. In every way, I think you're right. We'll see more and more of it. Now there's always a fringe for everything, and But this is kind of, it's crazy. It's crazy that you also had the president's name. That was bullshit. You're not allowed to do that again. Do you understand me? That's not okay.
Well, tomorrow we'll be talking about, the next week we'll be talking about Ben B. Franklin. That'll be a good episode.
Was that guy president?
That's all, folks. That's our new sign off.
Calling on Gareth Force. This is Gareth, part of the bad boys of this podcast. Listen, go to GarethReynolds.com for tickets and information about these shows I'm about to mention. Also, go follow me on Instagram or any of that stuff at Reynolds Gareth. But I'm going on the road. I will be in Greenwood Village, Colorado, September 12th through the 14th at Comedy Works. San Diego, September 18th. Bakersfield, September 20th. Manchester, Connecticut, September 24th. Albany, New York, September 25th. Syracuse, New York, September 26th. Ontario, California, October 2nd, Tempe, Arizona, October 3rd. I'll be at Helium in Portland, November 1st through the 3rd. Then I will be in Eugene, Oregon, November 4th, and Bend, Oregon, November 5th. 2 shows, November 6th in Seattle. One of them is close to selling out or sold out, so we added a second. November 7th, I'll be in Vancouver, British Columbia. Then you can see me on New Year's Eve in Austin, Texas at the Great Cap City Comedy. Like I said, that's New Year's Eve. Go to GarethReynolds.com for tickets and information. Be part of the Gareth Force. At Reynolds Gareth, GarethReynolds.com. That's where you can get all your stuff. Gareth Force, join me. Love you. Marry me.
Colorado Housing and Finance Authority, or CHFA, offers homebuyer education, down payment assistance, and loan programs to help you in your home purchase. For more information, visit chfainfo.com/yourhome. CHFA, with you every step of the way.